So there are probably people of a certain age who are watching the stream who have no idea what we're even talking about here. So you're going to find out because we're going to talk about it. And so why don't we introduce our esteemed volunteers? We'll start with.
Hi everybody, my name is Sophie. You guys seen me before. Freshman studying earth science and policy.
Hi, my name is Erin. I'm a freshman. It's my first time speaking as a volunteer.
You're first year student. Both of you are first year students? Oh my God. Oh, well, you're going to learn something also. So very good. All right, Mom.
Hello, my name is Srijan. I'm a fourth year student studying actuarial statistics. I'm from Allentown, PA, and yeah, that's kind of it.
Mm-hmm. Wait, and I want to be really clear. You're Chinese American. Both your parents are Chinese. And you're also out lesbian, which is why you're here.
Yes.
You're not, that's not the only reason you're here. But we felt like somebody in the queer community had to be up here. So, and you're from Korea, from Seoul? Bro, what's your ancestry?
Indian American.
All right, you were born here? All right. Up, wait. Push up, yeah, there you go. And now, hang on, bro, this one's dead. Yo, bro, that one's dead. Yo, bro.
Hi everyone, my name's Hala. I'm Saudi. I'm a second year student and I'm studying mechanical engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Hey everyone, my name is Kira. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My major is cybersecurity, analytics, and operations, and I'm a first year.
Your first year, and your parents are both West African?
Yes, they are.
Where are they from?
Benin, and my mom was born in Mali, but she spent most of her life in Benin too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And hey, wait, by the way, I want to show them a couple of photos about you. So,
Okay.
Listen, check this out. Can you go to the next slide? So you are a pilot, right?
Not yet. I'm trying to get my pilot's license.
Okay, but you were flying the glider?
Yeah, a
Did
glider.
you solo glide?
No.
Oh,
no.
you were with someone?
There was a co-pilot, yeah.
But you're also you're also
A sharpshooter.
a sharpshooter?
I am.
Damn, man. Dude, this is like wait, hang on a second. So you're kind of well, in my world, I would say you're kind of a badass.
Thank you.
All right, that's really cool. Yeah, that's cool. So but you also do, as a pilot, you were training in, what are you?
The Civil Air Patrol?
Civil Air Patrol?
Yeah, search and rescue.
Search and rescue?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, all right, that's cool. Wait, and how old are you?
I'm 18.
18, all
Yeah.
right, man. Dude, bro, how old are you? 29? Dude, what are you doing with your life, man? All right, maybe take this guy up flying sometime, all right?
I'll try. All
right. Can you go to the next? All right, so listen. Tell us, all right, so here we go. Also, by the way, G has a microphone here to walk around. So you will notice, I think you might notice, there are no white people up here. There actually are no white people. So white people, you all do situationships also. It's just that I just felt like I wanted we felt like we wanted to have different cultural perspectives that were really valuable. So can you just first off tell us why when we put the title up here, Situationships, were people was there rumbling in the class? Anybody who wants to take that?
I feel like it's a more common thing now, especially with our generation.
What's the it?
Situationships.
Yeah, can you define that? Like how?
Well, I would say you're more than friends, less than a relationship, and both of you don't actually know where to proceed, and it kind of just hangs in the air.
Whoa, all right. Someone want to add to that? It kind of hangs in the air. Do you notice any difference between the straight and the queer community? Is it all the same, by the way? If I can just ask that, since you're talking, let me just dig into that.
I wouldn't really know.
You don't have that conversation?
No, not really.
Uh-huh. Well, let me ask someone. Okay, somebody else jump in. How would you define situationships, bro?
My understanding of situationship is one person wants to be in a relationship and the other person doesn't. I don't know if that's accurate. Is that not?
Does that make sense to you? Like, help me, because you're like helping me to really understand. Because look, first off, one of the things that we're doing here is I'm first off, y'all know I've been around the block, right? I'm in this, so I'm like talking to people all the time. I'm not like your typical old man who has no idea what's going on. All right, I mean, I don't have any idea what's going on, but I have a sense. Okay, so what I'm really trying to do is just dig down deep, because my experience is that you all are just pretty much as equally confused as everybody else, and that you're confused. So that's your idea. Someone else want to add something? Hala, yeah.
To me, it sounds like a relationship with zero commitment.
With zero commitment?
Yeah.
Do you talk about this in Saudi? Is this a thing?
I mean, like.
Or in the community, the Arab community?
It's there, but it's not normalized because it's not normal in our culture.
Uh-huh.
It's not a talk you'd have on a day-to-day basis, you know? Like, I think I'd have that talk with non-Saudis, like non-Arabs, more than having it with with my community, because it's not like dating in general isn't there.
So dating in the Arab Muslim community is not happening in the same way that it's happening in the Western communities.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of conversation that you would have among Westerners, among like Americans here or somebody. Yeah.
I mean, I've never been in that conversation, but from what I've heard in classes, like I'd hear sometimes my classmates talking about her and a guy, and you know, to me that sounds very foreign because it's not as common as it is in our culture.
Got you. Yeah. It's Kara. Kara, how about you? What do you make of, what are situationships like? What do you know of them?
I think situationships are just when two people, like, they have like the tendencies of a couple, but they don't have the label of like a relationship.
But how do you know that you're in a relationship? Like, how do you know when you go from French? Like, dude, like, at my age, you knew it was a very clear line between being friends and being in a relationship. So, like, how do you know when you make the transition?
When both parties make it clear, I feel.
Yeah.
Like when both say, hey, do you want to be in a relationship? Like, do you want to be my girlfriend? Do you want to be my boyfriend?
So that's still happening. Is it? Hang on.
I think so.
Yeah? That's still happening. So hang on, let me ask you. So, especially online, so here's what I hear from lots of students, lots of people, that and then Aaron, we're going to come to you, by the way, that there's like this, especially online, there's like this, kind of gray area between being friends, like being like, hey, we're going to be friends, and then we're going to be in a relationship. And what I hear from people of your generation is there's just lots of confusion, especially online, like when you're talking to people, when you're texting with people, and so on. So is that true? Because you just made it sound like it's really clear, but I don't get the sense that it's clear. Aaron, do you have any thoughts on that? And what do you see in Korea? Go ahead. There you go.
I feel like in Korea, it's not as often as here, and we don't use the term situationship. It's not a thing in Korea, but then I feel like here, when we say it's a situationship, you do everything that normal couples do, but then there's no obligation or any responsibilities that you need to take by not like labeling each other as a girlfriend, boyfriends, I'll say.
So you do. So from like, if I were your, like your parent or something, I might say, hey, you're in a relationship. It looks like a relationship to me, but you might say, no, it looks like that, but it's not, or or it's a friendship, but it looks like a relation. I don't. Can you?
I mean, at the first place, I feel like if I'm in a situationship, I wouldn't tell my parents about it. And
Because?
I mean, it's not official. Like, I wouldn't call anything official when I'm in a situationship.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I feel like that's the whole point of being in a situationship. You don't, like, make it official. You don't tell it to your, I mean, maybe to your close friends, but then you don't, like, heart lunch or anything.
Can someone else weigh in on the official part? That's like really cool. Thanks. That like helps me. Srijan, can you like friendship to something? So what I'm understanding is you have a friendship, then you have a situationship, which is like semi-official, and then you have a relationship. So friendship to situationship to relationship. Am I getting that?
I think I agree with what Kara was saying too. Like, I think it's clear where a relationship is defined and where it begins. Like, pretty much like if you have that conversation, like, hey, like, do you want to be my girlfriend? That's when it's like official.
Uh-huh.
And maybe if you're kind of in that talking stage where you're like acting like you're a couple, doing like coupley things, going on dates and stuff, but you never actually had that conversation about are we dating, what are we type shit. I mean, oh, yeah. So then I think in that middle ground, that's where a situationship is.
It's that middle ground. So how often, Irvin, you're getting this, right? You're like following all this?
Yeah, I want to know what the difference between situationship and friends with benefits.
Yeah, what's the difference between what's the difference between a situationship and friends with benefits? Yo, how about that? Situationship and friends with benefits. You'd never talk about that in Saudi, right? That's like never going to be part of the conversation. Can you answer that? Wait, hang on. Does someone else want to answer that? What's the difference between a friendship, a situationship, and friends with benefits? Bro.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing?
Exactly the same thing.
But wait, but it sounds like, but it's friends with benefits. The benefit, what is the benefit? Sex? But a situationship can be with or without sex, it sounds like. Right? Am I right? It depends on who you... Oh, I got it. All right, hang on. Wait, before you go, bro. Here, let me see if I can test this out.
I think in a
For guys, for a lot of men, straight men, or gay, for men, because it's straight men and gay men, it doesn't become probably for a lot of men it doesn't become a situationship unless there's some kind of sex involved. Because otherwise you'd be like, I'm just friends. So like you got to add that into the mix. You would say that? Yeah. All right, bro.
I think situationships do involve like feelings, like there's a romantic basis there, but friends with benefits is like purely just like exchanging like sexual pleasure. You know?
Okay, all right. So situationship's going to involve feelings. All right. You're on with that? Are you on with that? Dude, hey, hang on a minute. Watch this. Dude, there are these things that we human beings have. They're called feelings, all right? You three men, right? Feelings, right? You got that? Irvin will tell you. Go to Irvin's house sometime. He'll talk to you about feelings. So it seems to me that there's a lot of fluidity in the relationships, lots of fluidity, right? Can you be in a situationship with lots of people?
For myself, no.
But could other people?
Yes.
Is that common, or how common is that?
I think it depends on the person, but it's doable.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you. What's something about modern day dating that hang on, I have this question here that I got actually. What do your parents say about the difference between how they date and had engaged in relationships and how people of your generation do? What are some things that your parents say?
My parents actually told me to not date until after college.
Not date until after college?
Yeah. My mom was actually very against me dating in high school. And I was like, well, shoot, I'm just going to date behind your back. Yeah.
But that's kind of is that a Chinese thing, really?
I think if your parents are against it, then it depends on you, but more likely to date behind their back.
Yeah. But is that okay? Do they know you're dating behind their back?
Nope.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, wait, hang on. But they not watch the stream, so they won't know.
They won't know.
They'll
Yeah.
have no idea?
No.
All right. So, okay. How about Aaron? Do you have an answer? Do you have anything that they, like, what do they say that's different in their generation with your generation? Do you have anything that your parents say? Yeah, what do your parents say? When they talk about dating and like when they're asking, do they ask questions like I'm asking? You can just keep the mics on. Yeah.
Not really. Not really. As an Asian family, we don't really talk about dating life in general. Like my dad would often like ask me if I have a boyfriend, like how's it going, but then like I wouldn't tell him.
You'd never tell him that you have a boyfriend?
I feel like I did once when I was in like elementary school, like grade 4, my first boyfriend, but then like ever since, I feel like I've never told him about it. I got caught once, but that's all.
Yeah. So you wouldn't even know like what? How different do you feel like it is for you than it was for your parents? Like dating and so on.
I feel considering that I'm in the States, it's pretty much different, but then if I would say that I'm back in Korea and I'm attending Korean university, I feel like there wouldn't have been a big difference in general.
What do you think what's the like are there any really notable differences in dating and just in general terms here in the US versus in Korea? Or what are the more notable differences?
I think the biggest difference is like how you call the relationship a relationship. Like I feel like in Korea, like when you're dating, we don't like the term relationship itself is not that deep. Like we get to know each other and then we go out date like several times, and then if you think we're compatible or have mutual interests, we'll start dating, and then it's like a starting line from there, and then we start to get to know each other, and then eventually it gets deeper. But then here I feel like when you call a date a relationship, it means like something more deeper and very
like right
more
away.
intense.
So like right away it gets more intense here.
You mean in Korea?
In here or in Korea? Where does it get more intense more quickly?
Intense quickly. So I wouldn't say it gets intense more quickly, but then like I'm just saying that the stages are a little different. Like
Got you.
we would go out on dates several times, and then we'll ask them to be their girlfriend or boyfriend. It's not that like it's just because if we do things that couples do, like go on date, but then we're not official, we think it's kind of weird in a sense. So I feel like it's more like a cultural norm that made that happen.
Okay, I got that. Yeah. Bro, how about you? Do your parents, do they ever talk about like what's your like differences between you and them? And your parents are both Indian.
Yeah, my parents both were born and raised in India, went to college there, and then came here afterwards.
Are they in an arranged marriage?
Yes.
They are?
Yeah. So they met the night before their marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
the
romantic,
first time.
man.
Yeah.
Dude, that's actually really romantic. Like, you know what I mean? You're going to get married. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, think about this, y'all. Like, you're going to get married to someone. You have your families have already agreed, right? Their families agreed.
Yeah.
You come together and you walk in the room and there's this person you're going to spend your life with.
Yeah.
That's pretty, well,
But they saw a photo.
they saw a photo.
Yeah, they both saw a photo of each other, and they like agreed.
And that's before we
Yeah.
had Photoshop, so they couldn't,
Yeah.
like, mark up the photos a lot. But though, do you find that's pretty romantic, right? Don't you?
Yeah,
think?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think my dad might have sent an older picture in though, like while he was younger. Yeah.
Do you okay, so are there any differences?
There's like a lot of differences. I think Indian culture, especially with regards to dating, is very conservative.
How so? Like, what do you see?
So like my dad went to army boarding school since he was like in 6th grade. My mom went to an all-girls school. My dad went to an all-boys school. And even throughout college, my mom had like it was all women's too, or her dorm was like all women's,
Yeah.
and there was like a 7 p.m. curfew.
Yeah.
Same with my dad. He had a curfew too, but it was like much later.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Um,
Wait, so they had
yeah.
So they really weren't communicating across the sexes, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like girls, like as far as I know from what my mom told me, especially in that time, girls like don't talk to boys, like don't even look at boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like really a very
Yeah.
Huh. That's huge. That's so different, man. I mean, think about that. Think about you've gone from there to situationships, right?
Yeah.
Like that's so intense. What else?
Yeah. Even in our like Indian movies and stuff, you'll never see a couple like they're all rom-coms pretty much.
Yeah.
There's or some romance aspect in them, but they'll never show like kissing.
Yeah.
Or very rarely. It's just like very innocent. I would say kind of like the girl and the guy are just like exchanging like stealing like glances at each other.
Glances. Yeah.
Or like
yeah.
they're like running around in the rain or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Running
like-
around in the rain.
Or like dancing. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
So
so
it's just a way different culture.
What
Yeah.
do your parents weigh in on your? Have you been in any relationships?
I'm in a relationship right now.
Yeah.
It's my first relationship, and like almost 2 years.
So it's not a situationship. It's an actual
Definitely not.
relationship.
Definitely not.
Is she Indian?
Nah, she's Pakistani Muslim.
Oh yeah, how's that going? Man?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Is she
but,
from a conservative family?
I wouldn't say so.
Well, evidently
but-
not. If she's with you,
Yeah,
she's not very
yeah.
conservative.
But I think also like Muslim culture is pretty similar. Like it's pretty conservative usually.
Yeah. Hala, so you're the idea of men and women not talking to each other, right? Wait.
I mean, like not talking, but
Not having like shared intimate time.
yeah, for sure.
Like you and as a Saudi woman, you'd never like be on a date with a guy or something.
No, I'd be on a date with him after he comes and propose.
After he proposes, but beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know, like, this is the thing. It's like in Arab culture, they're like, it's just everything is separated, right?
Yeah. My mom and dad were also married, like with an arranged marriage, but they dated like after he came and proposed. They were dating for like 3 months, and then after they felt it was right, then they had the wedding.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let me ask you this question. So when I was thinking about talking about this issue in class, I asked a bunch of your Saudi classmates, men, if they wanted to join the conversation, talk about dating, and every one of them were like, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm like, come on, you don't have to talk about yourself, just talk about it. Did they not want to talk about it?
Because it's a very sensitive topic, and in our the way we see it, Islam has a really big influence on it, other than our cultures. So it's considered to be sinful to talk, like to be in a relationship, an intimate relationship with a guy when
if
he's
you're not married.
Yeah, if you're not married. So that's why they wouldn't want it because it can if they wouldn't know how to answer these questions, it could give them a bad picture or a bad image in the media.
So there are people that just literally have nothing to say. There are a lot of people in Saudi or Emirati or Kuwaiti culture that really would be like, I don't have anything to say about dating because I don't know anything about it. I don't date. I really literally have nothing to say.
Yeah, because I do relate to them, because when they're talking about situationships, I just find it very funny because it sounds so foreign. And I've been looking to my friends and we're laughing because it's not something normal.
It's something you would never do. You just don't see.
I mean, it's something we watch on TV show. Like, he talked about how their rom-coms and is very innocent.
Yeah.
When one of your films, let's say an Angelina Jolie film is now in Saudi or whatever, they cut out the scenes where they kiss. There's no intimate scenes.
Yeah.
So it's so we don't have we're not exposed to that kind of intimacy.
It's so interesting that I'm thinking, Aaron, I'm thinking about K-dramas, and I'm thinking about you never see sex in K-dramas, man. Those of you who watch K-dramas, even the most romantic, the most really intense romantic Korean dramas, there's no sex. And I was watching one, I forget what it is, not too long ago, where it was after a scene, and I said, whoa, I think those two characters just had sex. But I didn't know if they did, because they just came out of a room together, and I think what's implied there is they had sex, but we have no idea. And I think compared to American television, which is just so incredibly revealing, and I have the idea that's one of the reasons that K-dramas in Korean films are so popular in places like the Middle East, because you can watch them with your grandparents and with your grandkids, and you're never going to be embarrassed because it's fine. Everything's really clean cut.
Yeah. All my friends, they do watch K-dramas. They just find it so innocent and so, it's they fantasize life with it. This is even they'd be like, oh, I wish, and hopefully I get to marry someone that makes me feel like this or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And not have to put up with the sex.
Yeah.
I mean, not that, but you watch it and you don't have to deal with that. Yeah. Aaron, are you really aware of that as a young Korean woman, that in these you don't see sexuality?
Sorry, what was the question? I don't see the sexuality in the K-dramas.
In K-dramas, right? So you don't. Are you aware as a Korean, like how we are? When I watch even the most romantic dramas, they don't kiss. It's so much intense, connection, but there's no sexuality. It's really intense. Are you as a Korean, are you aware of that or not?
I'll say.
Or is it just normal for you?
I'll say I am aware because I do watch different TV shows or dramas or rom-coms that's not produced in Korea. But then on the same note, I also think that it's not necessary, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's for different aim. The K-drama, we don't watch it to see those sexual activities between the characters. We'll like to watch it to have entertainment and have those feelings. That's it. I feel like it's not that necessary for the K-dramas to actually put that scenes in the drama if not much people actually wants to see it.
No, exactly. Yeah, people don't really want to see it necessarily. I don't want to see it. Like, I don't need to see it. You know, so many people don't. Most people in the world are fairly conservative, and they don't really want to see that stuff. By the way, the other side is. Oh wait, I was gonna say something. It's like, but a really common thing in Korean dramas are that there's so many characters who are in situationships. Because they're in these really complex relationships that are like, wait, is this a relationship or is it not? It's like you have two characters that can't quite come together. They're always missing each other and stuff. It's like, you know, it's like the crash landing on you kind of thing. You know, that you're just like, oh, come on, you got to get together, and then they don't, and yeah.
I'll say yeah. I feel it, but then it's like different stage. It's like a pre-stage of being a couple, not like a situationship.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that scenes a representation of a situationship. I'll say it's a.
So it's between friendship and situationship kind of thing.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Getting to know each
other.
other and having romantic feelings towards each other, but then not a situationship.
Yeah, got you. Yeah. I think that's one of the things that makes K-dramas really appealing, because there's always some couple that you're rooting for. You know what I mean? Like, as you and your friends would say.
I personally don't watch them, but I just hear like in every friend gathering they'd have to talk about a scene or like what happened in like the latest episodes.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you should watch a couple.
Me?
Watch one.
I
See
should
what
start
it is.
watching.
Yeah, it's good. You can watch. Kara, how about you, like with your parents who are like West African? What do they tell you about relationships that you feel is kind of really more unique to West African culture?
They told me like how it was in like West Africa. Like sometimes you could even be marrying your cousin because it's all about like it's like a high. Like, I forgot the word for it, like a hierarchical like standard.
Yeah.
So like it's about like families and who's wealthiest, who's like poor. Like you want to marry off to a rich family. So like if I were to go back home, I would already have a husband. So it's very different. It's very different. I feel like it's like similar to other cultures, but again it has its own like twist on it.
So your parents are really involved. Parents are really involved in the relationships.
Usually, yeah.
Kids.
My parents, when they were here, they didn't push anything onto me, which I'm grateful for. Like, I don't really talk much about like relationships with my mom and dad or whatever, because like they don't care. Well, they don't care if I'm like in a relationship. It's not like that. They just like they're not involved. If I'm like, Mom, I have a boyfriend, she's like, why would you get a boyfriend? Why would you have a boyfriend? And then she'll ask a whole bunch of questions. She's like, it's your life. Yeah. And then she'd be like, yeah, of course she would disapprove, but she won't like push that onto me like, dump him now. She'll just be like, good luck with that.
Do you feel like some of that comes from their own culture?
No. It's
Got
just
you.
because
it's just them.
Yeah, it's just them. My mom is like very aware of of the different cultures, and she's very open. So when it comes to like explain, like when she came here, she realized there was a difference, so she kind of like switched.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah,
okay.
it's.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Huh. Are Chinese families really involved in the relationships of their and marriages of their kids?
I also want to clarify something first.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between the talking stage and situationships, and
Yeah.
situationships doesn't necessarily mean sex.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, situationship doesn't necessarily mean sex. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But my family did tell me to date for marriage, so that's one thing. But I don't think they're especially heavily involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, date for marriage. Don't like necessarily play the whole field and see what happens, and then get lots of experience behind you and then decide.
Right.
Yeah. That feels like it's much more of a Western thing. Who else? Bro, you have somebody?
Yeah. But I also wanted to ask while I'm walking by to the Muslims, do you notice any difference in varying? Have you ever like observed like different Muslims having like different dating cultures as well? Because I've noticed a lot of the Indonesian friends that I know have a very different sense of like how they're what they're allowed to do in terms of the dating scene compared to that of the Middle Eastern Muslims. And I was-
Which friends? Indonesian friends?
Indonesians.
Yeah.
And I was wondering like if you guys have any insight on that or if you guys know something about it.
Do you have any sense of that?
I mean, in my community, some Saudi families are more conservative and some are more open.
Uh-huh.
So it depends on, and some families do have foreign influences, like their grandmother isn't Saudi, and so they were just raised differently. So that's why some families are, or some people find dating different.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Hello. It's kind of a comment / a question, but like I think the difference between like situationship versus relationship versus friends and benefits versus like figuring it out. I think like I mean, you guys all kind of said like a relationship has that like clarity of okay, like both sides are like, oh, we're in a relationship, like we are a couple, versus like mutual benefits, like it's just for the sex. But I think friends with benefits, there is still that clarity, like there on both sides there should be an understanding, oh, this is just for sex, versus I think a situationship versus like figuring it out. Like figuring it out is like there's some kind of like a direction, versus for me, and like this is a little bit of a negative. I think I would agree that a situationship there's no commitment.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like directionless, more like floundering. So like you have these questions, oh, are we dating, are we not dating, do they like me, do they not like me? But there's like no intention on either part to like make a decision, and you're kind of just sitting in that state of like indecisiveness, and like there's no move from either party to like make a decision. I don't know what you guys think about that. Do you think that's like an accurate description of a situationship, or like not really? But I do feel that the key characteristic is that like lack of direction and that staying in that state and no intention.
It sounds like what you're saying is there's this, it's really, wait, hang on one second. Keep the microphone for a second. It sounds like there's just lots and lots of fluidity back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And
yes.
Hey, I have a question for you though. Yeah, it doesn't have to be for you. It can be for anybody, actually. Thanks. Hey, the whole friends with benefits thing, it seems like it's got to be different for men than it is for women. And does anyone can anyone riff on that? Does anyone want to riff on that? It's got to be different for men than women. Well, you can't riff on it. You can't, you guys. Dude, would anybody, no, bro, do you have a question?
I got a question, yeah.
Go ahead. All right.
Cool.
But I want someone to riff on the thing of the difference between men and women and friends with benefits.
Yeah. So we stated like friends with benefits is all the benefits but no commitment. So you have like nothing to give on your side. And then being in a situationship is half commitment and half benefits, or half whatever is good. So then, like, what is, like, the actual purpose of being in a girlfriend-boyfriend, like, dating relationship?
Oh, dude, that's a great question, man. What's the purpose of that? Bro, you're in one. What's the purpose of it? Why would you move to the relationship stage?
It's a tough question, but I think
Wait, hang on. We're going to assume that your girlfriend isn't listening. Is she?
She might be. Oh, no.
All right.
I told her.
All right, go ahead, man. Answer it as honestly as you can.
I think like for different people, there's like different reasonings. For some people, maybe that friends with benefits might be like the best possible scenario. But I think for myself, that's not the case. I feel like the connection that you have with someone that maybe you're friends with benefits with is definitely not as deep as someone you're in a relationship with. And I think the commitment aspect definitely like builds to how like close you guys are and like how deep the connection is. I think for me personally, I wouldn't want to be in a friends with benefits with anyone because like a relationship's like you get all that and it's so much better too.
What makes it better?
You just get to like, you know, like spend all your time with one person and just like, I think like friends with benefits more like a nighttime type thing. Like, I like the daytime stuff too, you know, like.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. So right, so you get, if you're in a relationship, you get to test out it's a level of maturity, right? You're exploring taking an inner journey in a different kind of way.
Yeah, I think like, yeah, it depends on the type of person you are, but like, you know, if you're like a lover boy type person, like you can't be friends with benefits with someone because like, you're just gonna like get feelings and stuff, and then it's gonna be all weird.
Yeah.
But like if you're in a relationship, like it's like, yo, you're allowed to have feelings. Like you're like encouraged. Like that's the whole point, right? It's like nice, yeah.
So the way you're talking is the way I would say it. Like when I was your age, that's the way I would have said it. You know, like the relationship. It's much more multi-dimensional, and there's so much more you can get from it. But there's more of a commitment. So like you're gonna have to, you're in it. But you know, you have these phones, and like the phones make it really easy to be connected to lots of different people, right? So you're trying out relationships with lots of people. You're in one, and then suddenly the next one comes in, and you're like, ah, damn. Yeah.
Yeah. So is situation for each of you that experience a different
or for
dating
you, bro,
culture?
you can actually just weigh in yourself too.
Yeah.
So.
My question is it something that exists in each one of your cultures respectively? And if not, do you think there's a correlation between the fact that like we have a somewhat of a shotgun dating approach where it's like I've known several people that go on dates with different people each night of the week and then have these like they'll do this for a couple months with each one of these individuals, and it's sort of like a shotgun approach. And do you think that this method leads to situationships more than what exists in each one of your respective cultures?
Yeah. Do you got that? Like, do you like people just going on so many different dates with so many different people? It's just constant, and that it seems like today, like for me, if I go back 40 years, that's a really difficult thing to do. You know, you gotta arrange something on the phone. The phone's connected to the wall. I gotta be home when the phone rings. Y'all can just like make things happen in a second, man. So that whole shotgun approach. Yeah, I'm gonna just let that sit. I think you just pointed something out that's really. Unless someone wants, do you want to respond to that? Yeah, it's not really a question. The question is like how is it that, you know, do you know people who are just going on dates like every night of the week? It's just a different kind of thing, different kind of process. Are you
like going on? Do I know anyone going on dates with different people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just constant. It's like a constant, steady stream of different people.
Yeah.
How do you ever, when you're doing that, how do you actually get to a place where you might fall into a relationship? Is it an accident?
Maybe just the vibe of the other person, maybe.
Do you think dating culture facilitates having situationships?
Like one requires the other?
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to have situationships. Like, because, you know, you're constantly meeting people, so it's going to get complex.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like one technically doesn't require the other. Like, you can go from strangers to, like, dating or, like, friends to dating.
Yeah.
You don't need to go through a situationship because I feel like that's just... I just feel like that... Like a situationship isn't like a requirement for anything. It just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah.
It's just when things get complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. And I think one of the reasons behind situationships is because of these phones and the ability to move and to have these conversations with so many people at the same time. you know. Hey, what's that? You got one more? Yeah.
Here's what I'm. Here's what I'm thinking. I feel like being in a relationship is really like getting married, but for poor people.
Situationships are like getting married, but for poor people?
No, relationships.
Oh, right.
It's like getting married, but for poor people.
Yeah. How so, man? That is wild.
Dude,
that is such a sociological statement right there.
Well, here's a good way to think about it. Like
For poor people.
Sometimes I feel like, from my standpoint, I feel too poor to be inside a woman. So.
Inside, not inside, in a relationship.
But you get the point.
Inside of a relationship, yeah.
Wait, what did he just say?
Dude, you mean inside of a relationship? Yeah, got you. Dude, he
On
meant.
camera?
He meant in a relationship.
Oh, in a relationship.
In a relationship. Dude, the way you said that sounded like you meant something else.
Hey, calm down.
Y'all have
calm down.
Y'all have such dirty minds, man. God. Irvin, these people. Hey, bro, how about what would you add to this about situationships? Do you have anything you would add? What? Yeah. All right, man.
Also, yeah.
How do STDs impact your dating practices? Yeah, all right. How about STDs? How is that? Do you guys talk about STDs? Is that like out there even these days? Is that a conversation? Wait. I don't want to ask people on the up here. How do they? Somebody want to take that? Anyone in class want to answer this? How do STDs impact your dating practices? Because that's the thing, man. For anyone want to take that? Do they not impact it? Do you not think about it? Because what I know, what I will tell you, what I know about STDs and you all and your behavior is you're not thinking about it. You went through a number of years when you were thinking about it, but you're this generation right now, you're not even thinking about it. You're not even talking about it. Which to me, in my generation, is like, whoa, man. Yeah. Damn. All right. Do you have another question?
So I also want to ask y'all about this as well. So I'm very familiar with the Slavic dating scene, and in the dating scene that I know of Slavic folks, there's a weird sense of a lot of situationship that occurs because a lot of the Slavic people have this expectation that you gotta marry really quick once you start dating. Especially for women as well, you gotta marry in your early 20s. It's like sort of like an expectation.
Yeah.
And so the choice becomes serious because you're in it. And I was wondering like how you guys perceive, taking it further from the situationship, and do you guys take these factors into consideration when you are in a situationship?
Anyone want to take that? Bro.
I don't feel like we're obligated to get married very young. Like depends on your community and maybe on the kind of people you're surrounded by. If, for instance, all your cousins got married and you're still not yet married, I think it's just mentally draining for that specific person. But in general, my parents, I don't feel like they expect me to get married right now. It's not.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah. It's not something I have to work on, or I have to make sure that if there's a guy that's interested and then he goes and talks to my parents and quick. No, everything happens in a very specific timeline.
So typically, if you think about you and think about your cousins and people, do you have siblings?
Yeah.
Older?
No.
Okay. So think about cousins and stuff and folks you know.
No.
I have a question. So people have this idea that you, in some kind of, in an arranged marriage of some sort, like you have no choice over the process when it happens, and
It's actually forbidden in Islam for a girl to not even have a say in her own marriage. Everything happens under my own consent. It's just the parents are there to give their blessings, you know. So my dad is there to make sure that the man is a good man. He goes to the mosque. He's known for his generosity. He's known for his, people speak well of that man.
that he has a good mind. He has a that he would treat you well.
Yeah.
Right. So if you think about that, if you think about this, right? So what she just said about how her father, like the father is really, so here's the deal, right? And same with you. Her father is going to be really in the process of picking out her husband. Like really involved in the process of picking out her husband. Meaning that going to make sure that she doesn't make a bad choice, that she selects somebody or someone selects her. However, you are connected with someone who's like a really good, thoughtful person, and he's really very involved. And that means like your father is next to you in the whole, in your whole relationship in a way. Yeah.
I mean, like, even I always joke with my dad. I'm like, imagine you raising me for 20 plus years, and then a man comes and takes me away from you.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be that easy for, the man that'll marry me has to work hard to impress my dad.
Okay, so can one of you, do you have a response to that? Like, that's kind of wild, right? Can you imagine your father being that involved in your...
Personally, I would tell my dad to bug off.
Yeah, to bug off.
Yeah.
Bug off day. Yeah, but you're on your own then, right? In your quest for a relationship, you are on your own. Like you don't have that kind of support in the way that she does. So how would it be to have that kind of support in that way?
Honestly, that'd be very nice.
Yeah?
Because...
Well, then don't tell your dad to bug off.
I don't know.
No, but think about what would make it nice for you. Like, why would it be nice? Like, what are you seeing?
Well, sometimes, while I'm confident in my decisions, sometimes I get unsure, and I want him to be there to reassure me and give me advice on what to do.
So, Aaron, can you go back to the time when you in elementary school and your dad asked you if you had a boyfriend or something? But how would it be for you that your dad was really involved? Like you knew that when you are going to have this husband, then it's someone that your dad was very involved in picking out and selecting for you and so on. Or Kara, one of you. Like, how would that be for you?
Is it like specifically for the marriage purpose, or is he involved in every dating scene that I go through?
Maybe not every dating scene, but the marriage purpose, let's say.
I feel like at the first place, I wouldn't let my dad choose who I want to marry. I feel like it's up to me, and I'll definitely show them if I already made a firm decision to marry this person. I'm gonna show them. It's obviously that's gonna happen, but then it doesn't mean that he's gonna be involved in the whole process of picking who I should marry. I feel like that's very odd. I think I'll appreciate it, but then at the same time, I don't think that's his duty to do that. It's my own life, and I got a choice to choose.
Whereas for you, it's more his duty. In your culture, it's more his duty. Yeah. How about, do you know West Africa? Do you know, like, your parents? Does your dad come from a culture in which that...
Yeah. Like for me, I don't trust that man's judgment, so I wouldn't say yes either way. But like in West Africa, it's heavily on the family. Like everyone in the family has to agree that that person, they're at the right hierarchical standards. Their family's rich, like they're connected, they're like well put together. Because in Africa, if you can't really marry. Well, I don't know how it is for different people, but like what I know from what my mom tells me, like you can't marry someone like that's poorer than you.
Yeah, even then poorer than you.
Yeah, because you're on a different standard than they are.
Yeah,
Like they see it as like you're better.
So what's interesting is that what it means when the whole family is involved, what it means is that there's a lot of support networks for couples staying together. Like you're not out on your own, right? There's so much support, and so you just, so you're there. It's like having that support is pretty cool. Bro.
There we go. Turn this thing on, bro. Go for it. Where's it's on? Hello? Oh. My bad. I'm switching it back to like the STD topic and like the situationships overall. It was more of like a comment more so than like, a question.
No, that's good. Make a comment, dude.
I feel like here at Penn State, a lot of the relationships, at least freshman year from my experience, like when I was a freshman, were based off of proximity. And so many of those relationships didn't end up going into full relationships, and they started as situationships because people were used to the proximity of having something super convenient for them. Like, per se, people who are on their floor or in their building are super close.
Mm-hmm.
And so they started what you would call a situationship with them. And, there's like some aspects of a relationship with it, but it's not a fully fledged relationship because there isn't a full connection. And it's just based on like convenience, like attractiveness, like a few other qualities and stuff. And I feel like that's why there's a lot of situationships in our culture nowadays, because all of these relationships are based on like convenience and like maybe proximity, like, and that's why we see like an abundance of situationships.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, man. Yeah, so it's like you come to a place like Penn State from somewhere else, and you need to feel this connection with somebody else. So it's like, all right, so you start these friendships that quickly turn into something a little bit more complex. Mm-hmm.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please do.
I feel like, number one rule was like, for my friends, was do not date first semester of college. Because when you go into a new place and you're making new friends and going through new things, you want something to kind of secure yourself. And oftentimes people seek that in the form of a relationship. And so oftentimes you kind of lose yourself in another person, and it ends up not going as well as you think it would.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. Hey, I have a question for you. How, from what you can assess, are there any differences that are really notable in the straight and queer communities? Like anything that you can assess?
I can't find queer people. But I guess it's like less common. I think it really depends on the person. There isn't much difference.
Yeah. It seems like there wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But the idea is that a lot of people think that there are big differences. But I get the sense that they're not. And the evolution,
right.
I know that there isn't. Right.
I think the first part would be finding someone and then knowing that they're queer.
Yeah.
That's like the barrier. But then outside of that, it should progress as other relationships do.
Yeah. I got that. Yeah. Well, you got to turn it on.
All right. So to those over there who are in a relationship, I come from a religious background, so I wanted to ask those who are in a relationship, when there was a breakup or a difference in agreement, did it ever get messy? Because from my experience talking to people around Penn State, very rarely is it very neutral when there's a breakup. Somebody always loved someone more than the other. And has that caused any issues, if you were the victim or the one initiating the breakup?
Yeah, how often is it mutual versus not? Anyone want to weigh in on that? You feel like from what you've observed, it's it seems like it's often imbalanced. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would seem to be the case with situationships. The idea is that they're really fluid, and so therefore there's not going to be imbalance because the fluidity is you're just moving back and forth. But the fact is, this doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah. Anyone have any thought on that?
I feel like it's pretty important to have a balance. That's not always like 50-50 if the situation doesn't make it like 50-50. Like, for example, like, I don't know. I got a friend that's in a relationship with a girl in med school, and he's graduated, and he's, like, making money. So, like, he got more money there, so they're not going to go, like, 50-50 on everything. But, like, still, like, in general, like, it's important to have balance because otherwise, like, one person's gonna be like, "Yo, I did that," but you're not doing it back. So, like, that I feel like that could lead to a lot of problems.
Yeah.
In terms of like religion, like I'm Hindu and my girlfriend's Muslim, so it's pretty different. Like a lot, but I think like we believe in like multiple gods, kind of like.
Dude, you got like 5 million of them.
Yeah, but it's all like one entity. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like different forms. Yeah. But yeah, it's obviously like way different than Abrahamic faiths, and I think like because we both like respect that, both respect each other's religions, it's not a huge problem.
Yeah, I got you.
It's more like the family. Our families would have a problem with that, not us. Also, I'm like American, so it's different there too.
Yeah. All right, man. Final piece, my friend.
Yeah. Just speak. I think what I was gonna say is what makes like a situationship maybe convenient is people don't have to confront like the emotional vulnerability, you know, and people get to avoid that, and they just get to avoid the heaviness that may come with like an actual relationship. Yeah, so that's it.
So for you, like it's really in the end about vulnerability.
Yeah, right. And they'd rather avoid that, not to keep it in this space.
And I'm wondering if that's not a thing an obstacle to intellectual and emotional growth.
Also, another thing I kind of noticed was the whole notion of situationship starts to disappear from mid-20s.
Yeah.
It's like people, I don't know, it seems like a very like younger phenomenon because a lot of my peers are hitting, mid-30s, and the such notion is just almost non-existent, or at least not as prevalent. So I think age also has to do is a big factor as well.
It changes really fast. Hey, dude, thanks, man. Hey, thanks you all, right? Yeah, thanks.